Yay! You have a million D points.
Let's go!
We've discovered a new skill between the two of us, and that is ranting. So,
oh my goodness.
Welcome to our lives. Welcome to the things that we hate. And today we are going to be covering scores on video games.
If you guys are just now joining us, if this is like your first time being with the crew, understand that the most fun that we have, the best things that we do are when we talk about things that we absolutely hate.
Yes.
And this is one of those things that we hate.
Go to our channel, type in worst, and you will have yourself a ball.
Yes, you will.
So, I'm not talking about soundtracks when I say scores.
No.
I'm talking about points. Right?
Yes.
That thing in the top corner that is like 12 digits long, numbers you can't even pronounce. What's the point if you can't pronounce a number?
What's the point?
Exactly. What's the points if you can't even read it?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so I see scores as what would be called a cultural vestige. I believe that's the proper name for them.
Okay.
And even if they're not, I'm making it that word, which is something that exists in a culture. And if you guys know a different term for this, please put it in the comments.
I think the other term is particle effect.
Probably. Probably. Now, a cultural vestige, at least in my terminology, is something that we have as a culture that we no longer have a purpose for, but it's just there.
Gotcha.
It'd be like seeing somebody with, a cassette tape holding up their table because they use it as a little table shim. It's like, that wasn't the original purpose for it, but it's pointless to really use that right now because we don't use it.
It's a relic of the past.
It's a relic of the past. That, well, we can get into that later. Am I talking about all my points, or are we gonna switch back and forth?
Should we ping pong it?
Well, we'll ping pong it.
All right. I'd say scores are just arbitrary. It's like you never remember them. You hardly ever have to pay attention to them. The scoring systems are wildly different from game to game. Earning more points is almost never the main objective. It's like a distraction, and I wish it wasn't there.
Conman RDW says, what segment we on? We are on segment number 4.
Yes.
So we're not done yet. Scores are present in many games where they should not be.
Yep.
There are so many games that they try to put the score in where they have a different purpose.
Right.
Like, okay, here's something I didn't put in my outline, but I thought of last night. Things that have scores in real life, for the most part, are sports.
Right.
Every single sport, besides football, American football, because we have to be weird and have more rules. There are more rules in football than any other sport. I hope you guys know that. Like, most sports, you get 1 point for everything that you do. Like, a home run for one runner is 1 point.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah. Or like, in football, you get 6 points for a touchdown. It's like, that's like small. It's not like, you get 100 points for running 10 yards. Like, not every little thing is celebrated. You have to work hard for every single point that you get.
I thought that a touchdown was worth 7 points.
Well, it's worth 6 points, and usually they go for the kick, which is 1 point more. They can go for the extra 2 points, which they could fail either one and just end up with 6.
Conman RDW, friend of the show, asked a good question about leaderboards, so let's address that at the end of this episode. That's what you get for showing up live.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Yeah, we get to hear you live and talk about what you're talking about. But it's just present in many games where it shouldn't be. Like, there's a story and a score. It's like, no. I am going toward the goal. I don't need a points system to validate what I'm doing here.
Right, because you're trying to save the princess. You're trying to hold on to your lives. You're trying to... Just kill some turtles.
Yeah. I don't need...
Packing heat.
Yeah.
So, you can't read scores at a glance, which I think is, like, such a bad rule of UI.
Yes,
Just
it is.
User experience. It's like everything else on the HUD. It's like, boom, that's how many lives I have. Boom, that's what level I'm on. That's how many points I have.
You know what's also dumb?
What?
Is that 99% of the time there's no commas. I just now thought of that.
Yeah.
Like, it takes me 5 years to read it because there's no stinking commas.
Yes.
Why no commas?
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so here in my mind, scores have two purposes.
Okay.
One purpose is a local competition. Whether that be you have an arcade machine that everybody goes to and somebody tries to be... That hasn't happened since the early 90s, people, okay? Unless you're in some place where not much happens. And then the other one is, you have some sort of compilation tournament or a weekly tournament where the game of the week is Donkey Kong, and we're going to see...
Yep.
Like, okay. And then the other one is world records, where you are trying to literally be the best in the world. And that's the only purpose.
Sure. So I gotta clear a few things up. Make sure people are tracking along with us in the chat. No, we are not talking about review scores. Although the podcast that will be coming out at the very end of April is all about reviews.
Yes.
And it is an excellent discussion. So we're talking about the actual points in the corner of the screen in games. Common RDW says, I'm trying to think of a game with an unnecessary scoring system. And just for an example, Super Mario Bros. You get like 50 points for breaking a block, but points do nothing for you in that game.
Super Smash Brothers Brawl, the Subspace Emissary.
Yeah.
You have points, and every time you die, you get 1 point.
Yeah.
On top of your score of when you kill things.
That's insane.
So that you can keep track of how many times you've died.
Well, and here's how you find a game with an unnecessary scoring system. If it has a scoring system in it. Boom, there you go.
Ouch.
And like we said, this is just a leftover of the arcade era. And like Super Mario Bros., it's almost understandable that NES game had points in it because it was so close to arcade. But they've still carried on through the generations when they should have died a long time ago.
Yeah. It's part of video game history, but something sad here is taking place. The whole records-keeping industry is currently in ruin.
True.
Like, because of all these falsified scores that they're finding out. All these things are coming out now. And it's like, well, scores were really important, but I guess they were all fake. So we were all living a lie.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of sad to where it did mean something, and then it continued to mean something past what is truthful. And now we're just seeing the effects of that. And it's like... It's time to give up.
True. So, I do like that some companies get it. Nintendo rarely includes arbitrary scores anymore. And I think that scores should always be replaced with more clearly communicated goals.
Yeah.
And I appreciate how it's done in like the modern new Super Mario Bros. Games, which... You have to clarify modern and new, which is funny. And new, the new series of Mario is now 14 years old.
So weird.
Enjoy that. But on those games, you got the world map. You can see, like, if you've gotten the 3 coins, that's an indicator of how well you explored the level.
Yeah.
You can see if you got to the top of the flag, which means, like, you held on probably to one of your power-ups the whole time. You platformed well. So I like those indicators. Those things you can see at a glance. You can 100% a game by filling in all the blanks and stuff. And you never have to worry about breaking a random brick to get more points.
Yeah. No, that just turns into grinding. And
yeah.
No. There is a place for scores, and I see it as its place is on mobile games.
Yep.
This is a weird thing. Scores are going to mobile games, from arcade games to mobile games. Mobile games are turning into arcade games.
Yeah, I know.
That turn points into tickets.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I see scores as a mobile game thing now. That is where they belong. I do think that there's a point for them. You're trying to get your high score or whatever. That's purposeful. When I sit down with a controller, the last thing I want to worry about is the little things in the corner. It's pointless.
I know.
Ha.
Points are pointless.
Yes.
Can we make a shirt like that?
I think we can, but do you know what I just realized?
What?
The one game that we developed, we worked so hard on an actual point system for that game.
Yep.
To actually, but that was to actually reward people for playing it in a more difficult manner. But
yep.
Did that ever make a difference to you?
I fought tooth and nail. I was like, no points, no points, no points. Please don't make points in our game. And we worked with a programmer who was very opinionated.
Yes.
And maybe I should have used a lot more reverse psychology because his opinion always just seemed to be the opposite of mine. But I'm like, okay, if we're going to have points, please just let it be like 3 digits. Please, just 3 digits. And yeah, it ended up super long, and there were multipliers and stuff. And I choose to ignore that stuff because it rarely ever makes a difference.
Yeah.
Conman RDW is very impressed. He says, bro, you just evaluated the whole circle. System to mobile to arcade to tickets.
Yep.
Look at you go.
They're making money off of us.
And Glenn says, New Super Mario Bros. Is 14 years old, screams internally.
Yes.
And you guys are doing a great job in the chat. Thanks for keeping us company. And speaking of the chat, we got a question. What about leaderboards, though? And that's a fair question. I don't often think of leaderboards because it's kind of new to Nintendo platforms and Pantendo games. I know leaderboards have existed, since like the original Xbox for other gamers, but I think it is kind of fun seeing where you match up against other people. I gotta say, like, my favorite kinds of leaderboards are in Super Mario Odyssey, where it's like you've hit the beach ball this 3-digit amount of times, and your friends have only hit it this 2-digit amount of times. And it's not like a score. I don't have to parse what that score means or how they achieved it. I know exactly what they did and what I need to do to surpass them in Super Mario Odyssey. Same with like the races. Your friends did it in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay, that's what I need to beat, and I know exactly what I need to do. Those are the kind of leaderboards that I like.
And this goes back to the purpose for scores, the twofold purpose that I see. And one of those is world records or leaderboard world records. Now, that is also something that cannot be guaranteed.
Right.
If you look at the hiding the balloon things, people glitch the game, and online is even harder to jurisdict. I don't know if that's the terminology to police.
I think you're looking for particle effect.
Yes, I'm looking for. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It's harder to police online than it is like physical. I have a VHS tape of a score that some guy submitted, and those are the ones that are being called into question. Well, if these are being called into question, then the online ones, what do they really mean? Like, are they legitimate?
And Conman RDW points out even the Odyssey ones aren't. People glitch the jump rope game and stuff. Yep. So what good are leaderboards if people can cheat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of what scores were, but right now I think that they just seem kind of pointless to me. They have never been a motivator for me.
Yeah.
Never.
It is fun when you have like Switch friends registered and you can see how you guys are measuring up. So they can be used well, but we definitely don't need points. Okay, so the shirt. Maybe it's like a game with points, like Super Mario Bros. Or something else.
Bors.
We got to get away from Mario. But it's just like the game, and then in the corner instead of points, it just says points are pointless.
Yes.
In like the point font.
I like that.
Okay. We got to pick which game that's going to be. A Nintendo game with points.
Yeah, it can't be Mario because we have had way too many Mario shirts. We'll see your comments.
Speaking of shirts, though, I checked because I thought it would cost way too much to ship our shirts out worldwide. Mm-hmm. So we have Patreon exclusive t-shirts that aren't for sale anywhere, and they are really good designs. And that's the highest tier of our Patreon page. And it was limited to U.S. residents, but I did some clicking, some digging, and some searching, and we can now offer Patreon shirts worldwide.
Whoa!
The entire globe. So that is a recent development that just happened this week. Wanted to tell you guys about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of the crew.
Don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. That is our call to action. Way to segue.
Thank you.
That was really cool.
It's beautiful. I just want to hug you.
There's so much exclusive content. We're not just talking t-shirts. We're talking videos. A huge backlog of videos. They don't go away for our patrons. They're exclusive. You can't see them anywhere else, including the entire recording of each one of our live streams.
Yep.
So in between episodes, when we do stupid things and mess up a whole lot, only our patrons can see that.
True. Yeah, a weekly show made by Two Button Crew. That's only for patrons. That's on there. Well, I feel the need to shout out these awesome crew members before we sign off.
Yeah.
We got Conman RDW, some people. We got Yellow Kazoo, yes.
Cesar Franco.
Cesar Franco. Glenn, he's been a hero this stream.
You guys are commenting all over the place. This is totally uncharacteristic of our fourth segment. Normally, by the time we get to our fifth segment, it is complete silence.
I know.
We have one more segment, guys, if you're watching live.
Crazy K2, this is like his game. We're about to play Crazy K's favorite game. Cesar said, are you going to play it or are you going to judge it? And Crazy K is like, you better not judge it. So that's going to be fun. We'll see what we think of Donkey Kong Country 2 in a minute. See you guys next time.
Signing out.